So if you saw the video I did a week or two ago, I talked about the rumoured specifications for the EOS R5 and R6. Well, what's happened is quite interesting because the Canon EOS R5 development has been officially announced by Canon. This is not launch, it's not like a whole camera launch, look at this camera we've made, but they are talking about their plans and how things are going. And the rumoured specification about 8K video is true. According to the development page that Canon has put out, official Canon press material, the EOS R5 is going to be shooting 8K video. This is incredibly exciting. I'm hoping that there won't be too much of a crop factor. Now, I'm thinking that that could be the case because the reason that the EOS R has a crop factor is it effectively ignores the outside resolution of the sensor. So if it's got like a, say, 6K sensor, it ignores the 6K segment, just uses a 4K square in this section. But because of how high resolution 8K is, hopefully that's going to involve more of the sensor being used. So hopefully Canon is going to make the R5 with full frame 8K video, which would be incredible. There is no other match for that apart from Red and a few other cameras, I think, but certainly not a mirrorless for stills hybrid video camera. That would be really a very big win for the R5, and it could put the Canon mirrorless lineup back at the top of the industry. So I am really hoping that this happens. There aren't that many specs in this announcement, but they do talk about a photography burst rating of 20 FPS with an electronic shutter and 12 FPS in a mechanical shutter. So if you're a sports shooter, that's quite a good option. That's, you know, a lot of photos per second, but I mostly do videos, so I'm not that bothered by it. What I am more bothered by is they say that this camera is going to have in-body image stabilization, IBIS, physical in-body, so they're actually going to move the sensor, not the electronic image stabilization that previous Canon cameras have had. No, the sensor is going to move. They don't say how much, but if the rumors are to be believed, it's going to be about 5 stops, and that combined with a image stabilized lens should give you a lot of stabilization. And the benefit of being in the Canon ecosystem is that the article says that the camera and the lens are going to sort of work together, so both image stabilization systems will be able to act as one effectively, and that sounds pretty good. Obviously it's not going to be a substitute for a gimbal, but it should help to keep your footage a lot smoother. Personally, I do hope there is an option to turn it off, because if you have the camera on a tripod, on a gimbal, or on a shoulder rig, then perhaps you want more control over where the sensor is. You don't want it bouncing around all over the place, but definitely having that option is good. That's a big improvement for the Canon mirrorless lineup. Now that's essentially it for the specs. We know a few things about the controls from the video, but nothing else particularly exciting. There's not an official release date, but there should be an engineering sample for people to look at, or at least a somewhat pre-production ready camera. But the CP Plus photo event, which is at the end of February, beginning of March, so pretty soon. And hopefully this camera is going to come out about mid-year, June-ish. I really hope that does happen, and it would be awesome if I'm able to get one. It will depend on the price. Again, no official word on the price, but I'm still going to stick with my last guess of quite a lot. Hopefully it's going to be less than the 1DX Mark III, considering it is meant to be sort of lower in the lineup than the 1DX Mark III, which is like meant to be the ultimate Canon stills camera. My guess is it's going to be somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000, hopefully more towards the 4 side, because then it's just a bit more affordable, a bit more accessible for people wanting to get into 8K video. But again, I don't know. I mean, it could be more than 5,000. Really, we won't know until it gets properly announced. Sadly, there was no mention of the R6, so that camera is still a mystery. We only know the current rumors that we have. That wasn't mentioned in this press release, although apparently the R6 is going to be coming out, or at least it's going to be announced in May, so maybe that camera is going to be available before the R5? I don't know, but I'm really interested to see what happens with the R6 too. Now, in addition to this, Canon has announced that they're doing 7 new RF lenses this year and 2 new teleconverters for the RF mount. One at 1.4 times and one at 2 times. So that'll give you a bit more reach out of the lenses. They are looking at some very quite interesting RF mount lenses. I know that one has been officially announced, which is the 100 to 500 f4 to 7 point something. That's a pretty good sort of super zoom telephoto if you're doing some sports or wildlife. Oh no, it's the 100 to 500 f4.5 to 7.1 IS. That's pretty hard to remember. Quite a mouthful, that lens name. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I just thought I'd make something saying that yes, the R5 is going to have 8K video. This is really good. I'm hoping that this is going to be a big step forwards in Canon's mirrorless lineup, and it could really give them some more dominance in the mirrorless market, because right now they're still mostly, or I feel like more work's gone into the DSLRs for the past several years, and other camera manufacturers are starting to make some pretty good innovations in the mirrorless department. So hopefully this signals Canon's return to making industry-leading cameras with the 8K video. I don't know if anyone actually needs 8K video, but it's a nice option to have, especially if you just want to downsample to 4K, you have some more pixels, extra resolution for visual effects, cropping in, stabilizing, although you shouldn't need to do much post-stabilization with the in-body image stabilization. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble now, so I'm going to end this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you want to see more videos. I'm very close to being monetized now, so it would be much appreciated if you'd consider subscribing, because hopefully that can mean that I can get the YouTube channel monetized sooner, and then maybe I can get an R5 or an R6, which would be lots of good content. See you later.